Hey everyone, this is Adam with FANUC. Going to talk to you today a little bit about an option called Menu Utility. I had a couple comments on some previous videos that were asking about how to use that tool. I'd like to preface that with saying that your FANUC teach pendant can actually serve as an HMI. For some robotics cases, if you don't want to have a separate third-party HMI or PC or tablet on your system, you can just customize this screen. We have a few ways of doing that. One is just using HTML code and building your own web page and uploading that to the Teach Pendant. The Teach Pendant can actually serve as a browser, so you can set up custom pages here. The other thing you can do is you can use our panel wizard option that allows you to put buttons and indicators, strings, part numbers, all the things that you would need on an HMI. You can build them there. But this video is gonna look at what I call just a low dollar, cheap, easy, and very effective way to communicate with your operators, and that is called Menu Utility. I'll show you here. You need the option right here, Menu Utility, option R577. At the time of this video, it's list price $300. So you can add this functionality to any robot for $300, and now you can have your operators and users interface it with your machine. So let's dive into it, guys. With that option, menu setup, you'll see this guy, Menu Utility. Surprise. There are 5 ways that a menu utility can work. Okay, only 5 ways. Here they all are. I'm going to go through each one of them, and then we'll just build a couple and have some fun. So the first is a prompt box. Okay, so this is one where the HMI, your teach pendant, is just going to send a message. Okay, there's nothing that an operator can do about it. There's nothing that's going to change the way the robot's running. It is just something to let someone know that something happened. So let's take a look at it. I can build up to 99 of these. FANUC puts one in as a default, just as an example, so you can see what it looks like. So let me hit detail. So in this detail, they named this menu not at perch. Then they built up the lines of text, and all it says is robot is not at perch position. Pretty straightforward. I can click my F3 button to test it and see what it'll look like in a production setting. So if this menu utility gets called in production, boom, this is what a human's going to see. You've probably seen something just like it. There's the same thing that FANUC uses to talk to you. Now you're using it to talk to your operators. So hey, the robot's not at perch. The only thing your operator can do is click enter and just acknowledge it. They say, yup. If you call that in the middle of a program, the program will pause until someone comes up and clicks OK. This is just to get their attention. The other ones that we can do, let's look at number 2. We can do a check yes or no. So with these ones, here's another sample one that FANUC put in. I didn't do that. It comes in the robot. FANUC's just asking you a question. Hey, Mr. Operator, the robot's not at perch position, but let's test it. They're saying, is it safe? I'm not really sure what they're trying to get at. Maybe it's, is it safe that the robot's not at perch? So the operator can choose yes or no by moving the arrows left or right, and then press enter, and then you can make some logical decisions in your program based upon that input. Let's look at more. You can have the operator select from a list. So let's open the details. Here's one that came. This pop-up box would be something along the lines of, you have 3 choices of what to do. And let's see how many we can have. We can have up to 8 choices default. But you have up to 8 choices what to do. You can either continue, you can abort, or you can change a new product. this is just an example. We're going to build our own. But then depending on the decision that the operator makes, there will be an action, a teach pendant action. So if they say, yeah, I want to abort production, here's what the screen looks like. Cycle interrupt. Would you like to continue, abort, or change your product? So if they press number 2 and then click enter, it will abort. We're going to build one and have some fun, but right now I'm just exposing you to what these are and what they do. Next is a status menu. These ones are really cool and really handy. These are the only ones that can run on the screen while the robot's going without pausing production. And the whole point of these is just to display stuff. There's all kinds of options of what you can put in there. What program's running, what routine, what line are you in, what's your status, what time, all different things that you can put on this display. So let me show you what that looks like when I hit the test button right here. So this, with the status program, once a program starts, you can have this just displayed on the teach pendant. That way, at any time, someone can glance over and see, hey, what program is running, where are we at, what's going on. It's just handy, and then you can customize that to show them whatever you want to show them. And then lastly is one that requires operator entry. So in this particular example, there's a little bit of back and forth. Okay, if I scroll down to, just all the prompts there, 10 prompts. Let me hit test. The robot will ask the operator, is there a part in the chute? Yes or no. And look, they can use these buttons to do a yes or no. How many parts are in the chute? Okay, they can come down and they can say, well, I got 5 parts in the chute. And you can see that they're allowed to put something in from between 0 and 9. So we hit enter, there's a 5, and then done. So that one is a little bit more back and forth, interfacing with the operator. So I'm not going to do all 5 here in this tutorial. There's a really good help menu on how to use these, and built into the teach pendant, if you click help, it actually brings up the menu and shows you exactly what they all do and how they work. But I figure since you're already here and you're watching YouTube, we're just going to go ahead and build a couple of these for fun. So let's go ahead and let's start with one of the easier ones. Let's do a yes or no situation. Okay, so I'm going to say detail. I'm going to create a prompt box. I can give it any number between 1 and 99. 1 is already taken, but let's just be cool and do number 2. All right, so what do I want my menu to be called? I can name it anything I want. Let's just call it something like, let's see here, maybe I'll say continue. Continue prompt. So that's just a name. That's just what I'm going to call this thing. And then what I'll do, I can build my lines wherever I want them. I'll probably put it somewhere in the middle and say, would you like to continue, move down this program? All right. So there we go. I've given it a name. I said what I want the message to be. Let's test it. There it is. This is what it's going to look like. Would you like to continue this program? And then the operator can choose yes or no. All right, perfect. So now we've got that built. Let's next, this is the part that maybe they didn't tell you. Let's go into our data. I'm going to clear out some old data that I had laying around. I'm going to say register 1 is my prompt yes, no. And what I'm doing here is I'm queuing up a register that is going to receive either a 1 or it's going to receive a 0. That prompt box, if a user says no, we're going to get a 0. If they give us a yes, we're going to get a 1. Those are the only 2 answers they can give us. So I'm going to open up a program that I've had running here before in a previous tutorial with these. So let me delete some old calls there, add a line of code. Beauty. So here's what we're going to do. Super easy, guys. We're going to call a program. I'm going to go to my macros, and there's a prompt yes, no. So in this list, you can see we've got our list menus. That's where they can select from a list. The operator menus, we're going to build more of these. But then the prompt is the one where they can only click the OK. If I want to do the yes, no, so I want to call prompt yes, no, but I have to add arguments to this. Okay, the first argument I'm going to add is what one do I want to call? Well, I want to call number 2. If you remember on the other page, I'll just show you, the example from FANUC was menu number 1. I'm calling menu number 2. That's where that number 2 is coming from. Okay, so number 2. The next thing I need to do is tell it what register I want the answer to go to. And I already showed you I want it to be in register 1. So R1 is going to get the answer to prompt box number 2. Let's go ahead and test this bad boy and see what happens first, just to make sure this works. All right, so here we are. We're busy. We're in the program. Would you like to continue this program? Yes or no? I'm going to choose a yes, and when I choose yes, we should see a 1 go right there. Here we go. Yay! So I chose a 1. It went in. It turned into a 1. The robot kept running. Now, that just proved that the prompt box works and the register works. What we do with that data makes a difference. So what we could do is something like this. We could say if, maybe let's do a little if jump here. Let's turn on the teach pendant and say if register 1 equals a, let me get this up here so you can see it. If it equals a 0, then I want to jump to label 99, something like that. Okay, well, guess what? I need to build a label 99. So down here, instructions, label 99. There we go. So what that'll do should be, if they say no, it'll put a 0 there and the robot just won't run. So let's test that. Would you like to continue the program? If I say no, boom, program's done. Nothing happens. Let's do it again. Would you like to continue the program? Let's click yes. Hey, now we're moving cars. So there's one example of a real easy, just a little yes, no. Pretty straightforward, nothing to it. Let's do some more. Let's take this to the next level. Delete those guys out. Don't need them anymore. All right, let's go back to our menu utility. Have some more fun. Let's do one where we pick from a list. So I'm going to create a new one. Here, let me make this a little bit bigger, guys. Single. There we go. Select from a list. I'm going to create one. This will be number 2 within this guy's list. So menu item 2. List name. Let's just name it where to go. All right. And I can give it a title and say, where would you like the robot to touch? And then I can say, touch conveyor, or I can touch the table. And then down here, you see there's another line for prompt. We can put something in here. Make your decision wisely, colon. Gotta have fun with it, guys. So if they choose touch conveyor, what action do I want? I want to call a program that I already wrote. All right, this already existed, called touch conveyor. And if they choose touch table, I want it to touch table. So let's do a preview with my F3 key. This is what we should see. Where would you like the robot to? You can see I ran out of some room, so we gotta make that more succinct. Where would you like the robot to touch? The conveyor or the table? Make your decision wisely. And then someone can put in a number. Let's clean this up because obviously I ran out of room. So let's say, where would you like the robot, let's just say, to go? Let's see if that one fits. That's why we have the test button. Nope, still too long. Isn't that funny? You could, let's see here. Where robot go next? How do you like that one, guys? Leave comments to tell me how nuts I am. Where robot go next? Okay. If they put in a 6, can't do that. They've got 2 choices, 1 or 2. So you gotta do that. So let's go back into our program. Let's add our line here where we call it again. We're going to call a program. Remember, they're under macros. I want to call a list, all right, because we just built it under list. And again, we've got to give it our arguments. We got to give it these choices. So the first thing is, what list do I want to call? I want to call list number 2. And the next thing I want is, where do I want the answer to go? In this case, maybe let's put it in register 2. List number. We'll build that. Split screen this guy. All right, let's test it. Here we go. So it should call the list menu number 2 that we built, and it should, whatever answer I put in, it should dump the answer in there, but then it should also call the appropriate program. So here we go. Test. Boom. Screen. Where robot go next? Do you want to touch the conveyor or touch the table? Let's touch the table. As soon as I hit enter, it should put a 2 into there, and the robot should go touch the table. Look at that. Oh, there's our answer. So list is number 2, the robot touched the table, and then it finished the program. Remember that all this thing does is pause the program. Let's test it again and go to the conveyor this time. Where do you want to go? I want to go to number 1. Enter. Touches the conveyor, goes home, updates my register, and then finishes the program. All right, so now you're getting an idea of how you could use these. You know, you could use these for multiple program calls, different loops, different decisions. Let's go ahead and delete that work, and let's maybe do one more. I was talking to you about the status displays and how those work. You know what? Let's do one more fun one before we do the status display. Menu utility. Before we do the status menus, let's do an operator entry one, because these ones are pretty involved. It'll be worth looking at. Okay, operator entry. I'm going to create one. Again, it'll be menu number 2. All right, menu name. We're going to call it pick number, title. Choose between 1 and 90. Okay. And then let's go into our prompt. And this one's a little more involved, like I said. If we pop open the detail screen, you can see there's a lot more to work with here. So first is the prompt. Let's just say pick a number, please. All right. And then what variable type do we want to deal with? So let's look at our choices. We can dump it into a register. We can put Carol variables in, system variables. You can play with a few things. Let's just keep it simple. Let's put it in a register. What register number do I want it to go to? I haven't used 3 yet, so I'll use 3. I'll leave these blank because I'm not dumping them into Carol or system variables or anything. We're going to keep it simple. Here, we can define what data type they want. So do you want it to be an integer, a real, text, a Boolean? It's just, yes, no, on, off, 1, 0. Let's make it just a whole integer. And here's where we confine them and say, hey, it needs to be between a 1 and a 90. So now let's back out of here. Let's see what this looks like on the screen. Cool. Choose between 1 and 90. Pick a number, please. So let's pick 55. Enter, and then press done. So we know that works. If we tried to pick 888 and hit enter, of course it yells at us out of range. If we try and do 1.2, you can see it doesn't even acknowledge the decimal. It won't even let you do that. Well, now it's a 12. What's neat about the test button is even though we're just playing around and testing, I can now go to my data and look, and you can see that register 3 has been updating with all the stuff. So I'm going to call it the pick number. So again, let's go into our main program, and let's do a call our macro, operator menu, and I want to use operator menu number 2. Let's see. All right, let's split screen this. Let's run it. There we go. Choose between 1 and 90. Pick a number, please. Let's put in 88, because why not? As soon as I hit enter, 88 goes into the register, and then it says press done to continue. And there we go. The robot keeps running. You'll notice in the other prompts, the yes, no ones and the list numbers, we had to add the argument of where the answer was going. This one we didn't have to add the argument because we already built that in the menu utility setup screen. We already built the argument. So it already knew it was going to R3. I didn't have to do a 2, 3 for this one. It was intelligent enough to do that. Where can I use those numbers? I can use them in all kinds of fun ways. What if we did something like this? Take this override number, do a copy, select, select that guy, paste him down here, and let the override be equal to register 3. Right? I'm not advocating that you let your operators choose your speed, but just so you can see it being used somewhere. Let's run that. Run. Pick a number, please. Yeah, let's run 87. And done. And so now the percentage in the upper right corner, you see the robot speed went to 87% speed for the program to run. So there's a lot of ways you can have fun with that. The last one I want to do is the display of program status. So let's show you what that one looks like. Call a program, and I want to display the status page. Which one? I'm just going to show the one that FANUC built. We didn't build one in this tutorial, so I'm just going to call the main one. But what's neat about this is, like I said, this is the only one that won't stop the robot from running. So let's run this. So while this robot is running, you can see the screen updating. It showed what line we were on, what routine we're in, if it's running or not, what our timestamp is. Let's hit it again. And again, this is just the stuff that was pre-built from FANUC in that first menu. I mean, we can add more or less or change it, things like that. So again, a lot of functionality in this one little area. Up to 99 boxes for all of these. You know, you got almost 500 boxes of things you can play with for $300. Makes for a nice little on-screen tool on how to use that. So. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like the video, subscribe, all that fun stuff. But most importantly, have fun coding.